Give me a moment. I want to share my screen. Trying to get my SPSS opened so that you all can see. All right. So I'm going to share my screen now. All right. So, like, or let me say, as we had said before, to import data into SPSS, very easy. It's you once you open your SPSS file or you open a new page of SPSS program, then you go to file. After going to file, you either click on import data or you click on open, depending on anyone that you love or you like. So if I'm to use import data, I have to first ascertain my file type. And like we have learned, our data can come in different formats. If we still continue in this journey together, at some point, we'll get to places where we are going to be generating data from database management softwares. So we're going to create database ourselves, then fill in those database ourselves, then we'll convert those data into different form or into different formats. So we can decide to export our data in a CSV format or export it in a text format, or say, oh, I want to export it in a stata format, or oh, I want to export it in a SAS format. SAS is SAS. So all of these are different data types, right? And they have different properties. So that's why when you are working with data, you have to be very, very, very conversant with different data types. If you collect your data with Google Forms or the likes, the for the most part, the popular one that they use is CSV. CSV is textual data and it's a tabular data. So you won't have issues. But you get to some point where you work with some organizations or you work on some projects where data will be downloaded from platforms like Qualtrics. Who has heard of Qualtrics before? Ada should have heard about or heard of Qualtrics. Ada, have you heard of Qualtrics before?
No, call tricks, no. Is it people that use probably customer service database or something?
No, it's also a survey collection tool like Google Forms. So Qualtrics, we have Survey to Go, we have Survey Kobo 2. Then we have
The
Survey.
ones
There's
that
also
is the ones I've used that Kobo Collect, Kobo Toolbox, Survey to Go, Survey.
exactly. Yes, yes. All of those are all they are all survey collection softwares. They're all survey collection softwares. So when you use all of those softwares, they also help in collecting data, just like you use Google Forms to collect data. So when people are collecting surveys, like surveys from different places. You know, when we're talking about data from the beginning, we said that data can come in different formats. Sometimes people are out to collect surveys. That's the same thing as what you did with Google Forms. That's where all those call tricks, survey to go, Kobo toolbox, Kobo box, Kobo anything. That's where their utility is. But there are times where organizations will have their own database. Organizations will have their own database. Maybe someone is running a superstore. someone has a supermarket, someone is running a retail store. They will have their own database of customers and all of those. Have you so these are also database. They can come in different format also. So that's why I'm trying to ensure that we are exposed to different data formats. Not that we every time we are going to be seeing Excel formats. So please always have at the back of your mind that data can come in different formats, not only in Excel. But for now, the data we are working with is in Excel. So we go to Excel. Then this is data we want to work with. I'm going to click on open. Then I'm going to SPSS will give me some a dialog box that I would walk through. Our variable names included at the top of your file. If it is no, I will say no. If it is yes, I'll click on yes. So this would help SPSS know where to start is data identifier. Its data identifier will start from. So that's that. This question would help. If you click on no, what would happen is that you will see that the variable names will be added to the data set. You can see do you on that first cell. You can see this dot. But if I click on yes, you see that those do you gender will become the variables. But if I click on no, you will see that they will come down. They will become part of my data set. So that's the essence of clicking yes here. That's the essence of clicking yes here. Then the next thing is you can click on remove leading space, remove trailing space, so as to keep your data LD. And after that, you click on OK. Yeah, so we're going to wait for SPSS to bring our data in, then we continue working. What is happening, Mr. SPSS? Where's my data? All right. So my data is there. Like we said in the last class, you can run your frequency by going to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, then Frequencies. Then move your variable from the left, click on it, then click this arrow, click on the variable, click this arrow, click on the variable, click this arrow, then click on OK. This would generate only your frequency table. Then the only thing you want, just like Ada asked me, was frequency table. So this is enough. You don't need charts. So you can just pick your table. And I love that you guys are always attentive to things. Thank you very much. The questions you guys always ask me, they're always spot on. So for the most part, what we always do in research is that when you are describing demographics, we always try to merge everything together so that your words will not be, you just say a few things and just leave them, because you don't want demographic analysis to take the space of the more important and more cogent insights that you want to talk about. So age group and 20% is this one, 30% is this one. You don't want that to take the space of more important insights. So that is the reason we always like try to minimize the amount of words or the number of words that we use to describe the insights from demographic analysis. And that's the major thing that is driving that decision to merge the table into one. So if I want the bar charts, then I go to discrete statistics, go to frequencies. Then instead of just clicking OK, I'm going to click on charts so that I can add bar charts, then click on continue, then click on OK, right? So now my bars will be done, right? Then you can then say, okay, you want to go ahead and format your bars, right? Just like you guys did, you can double click and do different things with your bar. I didn't talk about this the last time, but it seems you guys are very great at finding things. So I am sure that you guys would be able to work around this. So if you want to format your bar with anything, if you want to put text box, put anything, SPSS would allow you to do all of those. It's just for you to come here, double click your chart, then format as it pleases you. So that's about charts. Then the next thing that we discussed was coding and recoding. During that session, we can recall that one major thing that we tried to do was to label what is coming from our Google Forms. It's here. I think it's on this. It was on this document that I was doing it. Yeah. All right. Okay, not this. Okay. So one major thing we did was we allowed strongly disagree. We said strongly disagree will be coded as 1, disagree will be coded as 2, neutral will be coded as 3, then agree will be coded as 4, and strongly agree will be coded as 5. So we are back to this place again. So why do we do this? We do this because the variables that we are trying to measure, so we are trying to measure some variables which we won't be able to measure them naturally. So say we want to measure something like digital collaboration. You can't just ask someone that, oh, do you have digital collaboration in your organization? It's going to sound odd. And yes, everybody say yes now. Everybody will start thinking about different things. Probably everybody you meet would have different interpretation of digital collaboration in their mind. Why? Because data collaboration is not something that is measurable with anything, any single question. If I want to measure your gender, I can say, what is your sex? Or what is your gender? Then you tell me male, female, or any other variant of gender. If I want to measure your height, it's just for me to bring out a rule. Then I measure your height. If I want to measure your weight, it's just for me to put you on a scale. Then I measure your weight, either in kg or in pounds. So you can see all of these are measurable. However, when we are talking about latent constructs are variables that are latent in nature. They are not explicit. We cannot measure them. Just like something around love, AIDS, you cannot measure them with anything. You cannot quantify them. So we use skills in that regard. So to now measure digital collaboration, we have to ask about 5 to 6 questions. So we ask question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, question number 5 to see how are people answering those questions. Then whatever it is that is their response to those questions, we would either sum those up or average those. That would then form the definition of our constructs. So for each of these questions, all of them would have the same options. So for the most part, we always use this Likert scale. Strongly disagree to strongly agree is what we usually use in order to measure that construct. Although we have advanced methods, but for now, for your level, we might get there at some point, but for your level, we still leave it at this. So what we then do is that each question, the person would either pick any of these options. So the person might pick, let's say someone picks 3 year, 4 year, 4 year, 5 year, then 2 year. So that means that for question 1, the person strongly is neutral. The person is neutral. For question 2, the person is 4, agreed. The person agreed. For question 3, the person agreed. But for question 5, the person disagreed. So what we then do is that we'll either do average or sum of all of that person's response. We now say 3, if it's average, we look for the average. 3 plus 4, 7. 7 plus 4, 11. 11 plus 5, 16. 16 plus 2, 18. Then we do 18 divided by 5, and that's equal to what? 3.6. So this 3.6 is then digital collaboration. So you already noticed that someone else might say 5. 5. That's another response now. 5. 4. 5. 5. If you look for the average of this person, that would be 5 plus 5, 10. 10 plus 4, 14. 14 plus 5, 19. 19 plus 5, that's 24. 24 divided by 5, that's 4.8 for that second person. You already see that this person is saying that there is higher level of digital collaboration in the organization compared to this person. So now, another person might come and say, oh, question 1, I strongly disagree. Question 2, I strongly disagree. Question 3, I strongly disagree. Question 4, disagree. Question 5, I'm neutral. If you average this, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 3, 8, divided by 5, that's 1.6. You can already see that this is standing as the average of how people are answering. So for someone that picked 4.8, the highest that anyone can get on this is 5, because let's assume that the person picked 5. 5 all through, 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. If you look for the average of 5, 5, 5, 5, everything is 5. So the highest that we can get on that average scale is 5. And the lowest we can get is 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. That's when the person strongly disagree with everything. If you look for the average of that, that's 5 divided by 5, that's 1. So the lowest we can get on this scale is 1, and the highest we can get is 5. So for anybody that is getting closer to 5, then that means that there's high level of digital collaboration that person is endorsing. But for anybody that is getting closer to 1, the person is endorsing a lower level of digital collaboration. So each of these metrics is now what we're going to now say that is our digital collaboration, which will be the average of these 5 questions. Do we have any question at this point?
No.
Wow. That I thought there will be a lot of questions already. People, do you have any question?
No.
Wow. Ah, seems I'm teaching you guys what you already know. Abi, we should turn the table. Ada, please, I think you are going to share and you start teaching us.
No, I understood what she said.
Okay. All right. So the whole essence of going this route is so that we are not using one, because there is one thing that we are going to get, especially in academic research, that we are going to be working with. You will see situations where you are looking for the relationship between 2 variables, and you cannot just say the collaboration yes or no, the other variable yes or no. You cannot do that. You have to be able to run some things around regression and all of those. And to be able to do that, you have to ask multiple questions, average people's response to that multiple question, and that then form your digital collaboration or your construct. So let's go back to our SPSS. So the last class, in order to get this guy, which is the Likert scale, we have to recode. We call it recode or coding in SPSS. So when you are coding for the first time, that's coding. But if you are recoding, maybe you have some things before and you are recoding again, that's recoding. But for now, we're going to be coding, not recoding. So you click on variable view, then you go to variable values. So under variable values is where we are going to be working on coding. So when I talk about variable values, so this is variable values here. These variable values. So under variable values is where we are going to code our responses. So the first response we want to code is 1 for column 8. Then we'll click on the ellipsis sign here. This is an advanced SPSS. So it's the same thing. Just 1, the label, say strongly disagree. Then click on this again, but this one is advanced. So it's just it's the same thing as clicking on add on. So, I click on OK. I ought to click on add. So I click on 3, then 3 is neutral. Click on this, then I click on 4. 4 is agree. I know you guys already know this, so I will not spend too much time here. 5, strongly agree. So this was what we did the last time. Then we'll click on OK. So what then happens is that our variable, going back to our data view, our variable is now represented by this. However, there are some times that your variable will not show this immediately. It will not show the label. So you have to go to click on view, then look for value label. So if it's not ticked, if it's not checked, it will not bring out your label. But if you click on it and it checks, then it will bring out your label. So you can do the same thing for everything. So it's not efficient for you to be doing strongly agree one, strongly agree for everything. Just Control C or right click and copy. Then we can paste all through Control V, Control V. Oh, it's not working. Paste. Why? Mommy, paste. What is happening? Okay, now works. Times SPSS can be funny. So the question that would be on you guys' mind is that since we have said one is strongly agree, two is agree, three is this, and we want to add together, how are we going to add strongly and strongly agree and all of these value these labels together? Actually, what we have just done is what we call case holding. We have just told SPSS that, hey guy, whenever you see one, it should be strongly disagree. But if you go back to this view and click on this value label, you will find out that your one is still there, your two is still there. So what's just happening is that you have just given SPSS another work to do. That wait, by three means this. So on SPSS view or in SPSS perspective or from SPSS perspective, is seeing three as neutral. But from the machine perspective, we still have 1, 3, 5, 2 on your data set. So you can still go on with your additions. Now, let's go back to our dimension so that we can see the dimensions that we want to actually create. So I'm going to try to open the data set we are working on now so that it will be easier for us to continue working. Yep. Please give me some minutes. Do you have any question at this point? I think I have gone over everything we've done in the last two classes now. Any question?
No question for now.
Oh, for now. Oh, wow. That one is different from no question. No, no question for
So
now.
I think when we enter the regression and progression, we'll start our question.
Okay, so I think it's time for me to share my screen. All right, shall I share my screen now? So the work what we are working on is this project, cultural intelligence, digital collaboration, and their influence on international project effectiveness. So you already see that we measured cultural intelligence here. And to measure cultural intelligence, we asked how many questions? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have now said that I can adapt my behavior when working with people from different backgrounds. That's the first question. I understand how cultural differences influence workplace interactions. I feel comfortable communicating with people from different cultures. I can adjust my communication style to suit different cultural contexts. I effectively work with colleagues from diverse cultural backgrounds. So we have these 5 questions that are measuring what? Cultural intelligence. So the next thing you then do is you go back to SPSS to ensure that you know where those questions are. So there are 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You can see I effectively work with colleagues from diverse backgrounds and I can adapt my situation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then what you then do is that, please, this is where the work has started. Please kindly pay attention. Now, there are two major guys that you are going to work with when you have collected your data and you are recoding or you are transforming your variables. It's either you work with data or you work with transform. Now, I want you guys to look at this transform. Which of all these options do you think I can use for what I want to do? Where I want to get the sum of people's responses. Which of these options do you think would offer me that utility? Are you all with me?
Yeah, we are with you.
Favor, are you here?
Yes.
Okay. So which one?
That will give us
Yeah.
Abi.
Maybe count values. With
Count values. So when you hear count values, what does count values mean?
we want to count the total number of values there.
So what we are doing, are we counting values?
No, we are summing.
So what do you think we are doing now? So that means that's out of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so which one? Actually, the answer is
Compute. I'm
Yes.
seeing calculator there.
Ah, yes. That one that has calculator is what you need. Because if you look at it like critically, what are we doing? When we're doing these additions, what were we doing with them? We're computing these things out, right? And
Yeah.
if you notice, you'll find out that each question on this is this not a question?
Yeah.
8, is it not a question?
Yeah.
Yes.
So on this guy, on this what's it called? On this interface, what does it mean? What's it standing for?
Is numeric.
No. What is it standing as? This 8, this number 8. What is it standing as? This number 8 on this variable view. I said something about variable view the other time. What did I say variable view means?
Okay.
So what did I say? That day I was asking that how many of these are here, and you guys said 27. And you said, you guys answered 26, and I said no, it's 27. So what does each of these row mean?
How many questions that are asked in the questionnaire?
Yes, they are questions, but what are they standing for? So I will not answer that question. If it's 1 hour that it takes you guys to get it, you get it yourself. So on this data view, each row, what does it signify?
Each row,
What does it signify?
it signifies the response to all questions.
Thank you very much. Data point. Favor, why are you not talking? Why are you not unmuted? I want you unmuted, please. So each row on the data view corresponds to each data point, right? That's what each participant answered,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, each of these columns, what do they represent?
Mommy, no. Each column represents responses to participants' responses to the question.
Participant responses to the question. So what does each row mean? You guys,
Data.
you guys are ahead data. Then what is the difference between participant response and data? So each row means your data point. So that's your data. So
Okay.
can never mean your data again. What does column mean? And that was our first class in our training. You guys you have done me big today, and we are on YouTube. So what does each column mean?
Data.
Data. What we tell each row means data. So what does each column represent?
Data point.
No, now we said each row represents a data point. Row is data point. What of column?
Oh,
Responses.
Response.
What of
So,
keys? Secondary keys.
so what is gender? Yeah, okay, let me not say everything. In this on this column that I've used, what is gender standing for? What is gender?
Categorical name.
Categorical variable. So what is age group?
The word is standing for the variable we are asking now.
Hey,
Have you
our
studied?
column is standing for variables now. When you answered me now, you said this one is categorical variable. You answered me, this one will be categorical variable. Another one will be numeric variable. So what is constant in all of those things? Variables. When you come to variable view, what you are seeing are your variables. When you come to data view, what you are seeing are your datas. Your data rather. Data, there's nothing like datas. Please, hope you understand that. Any
Yeah.
question before I continue?
Question.
You guys don't form my hand today. Maybe
Sorry.
I'll take all my kudos back. So each row represents data. So why do we say each row represents data? Because let's assume that we only collected question on gender. We have said that the word variable means that things vary across people. It's variable, variable. So gender can vary. Someone can be male, while another person is female. That's why we refer to as a variable. But one person's response under that variable is the data. So when I say age is a variable because it varies across people. But when I now say, oh, Ada, what is your age? And you give me that number, that is the data. So that is why in a tabular data, most of the time, our column represents the variable, while the row represents the data. Please know that now. Now, on variable view, what do we have on variable view? What does variable view tells us? Oh, yeah.
So variable views just tells us questions that are strings and that are numeric. It also
Don't,
tells us
don't use the word questions. Is that question that I don't want to
sorry,
hear?
variables that are strings
Eh,
and numeric.
exactly. It's just
Sorry.
telling you, it's not even variable. It's just telling you the properties of your variable. So that's why you can pick gender now. It's telling you that what type is a string. What is the width? Width is just like the amount of numbers that you give for each response. You don't need those ones. We'll talk about that one later. Decimal talks about, does the data point, does it have decimal places, or do you want to allow decimal places? Label, we'll talk about label when we get to R and all of those. Values, does the variable has labels? Is it categorical? Does it have labels? That's what you do under values. Missing, does the variable has a missing value? Columns, align, is it align left? Measure, what kind of variable is it? That's where you see nominal, ordinal. Remember when we were doing nominal, ordinal, interval? This is where you do those ones, and scale. So you can see that this is just talking about the properties of your variable. So on this variable view, what you are seeing are your variables. So there are no more questions. So this, I'm just trying to use that to illustrate why we call this guy compute variable. Because by the time we are computing Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and Q5, we are not computing questions again. What are we computing? We are computing variables, because once you bring them, once you start collecting questions, and once you start collecting data to those questions are not questions again. They are now variables.
Oh, okay.
They are only question when you are still having questionnaire. But once you have collected data under them, they are no more questions. They are now variables. Any question?
No.
No, no.
I say for now. So because the reason I want to do that is that I want to change these questions now to another thing entirely. That's why I just did what I just did now. So now I'm not going to call, I can adapt my behavior, this variable name. I'm not going to call it again that. What I'm going to call it now is, you see that cultural intelligence is what I want to measure. So I'm going to call it CI1.
Hmm.
I'm going to call this one CI2, CI3, CI4, and C. 5. You can see that it's still my question, oh, but
But
I've
you
just
named
named
it.
the variable because it's no more questions to me. There are no more questions to me. They are now variables. But look at under label. Label is still helping me identify that, okay, this is the questions I'm referring to. And that's the work of label. Under variable name, you can do anything, but label will still help you match whatever it is you have done to your variable name. So you still match it to what you started with. So please, who does not have, I say who does not have any question? Who does not have any question? They someone misyant. Me, I'm already mis asking you. So now for the next dimension that we're going to be working, what's the next dimension? Digital collaboration.
Digital collaboration.
So digital collaboration to help me perform my work effectively, and I am comfortable using digital platform. Those are the questions, right? So
Yeah.
Yes.
this is the first one. So what am I going to call it? DC1,
So this is
DC2, DC3, DC4, then DC5. So if I go to the next one, what's the next dimension? The next dimension is knowledge sharing, right? So I'm going
Yes.
to, so what would this one be? Favor, what would this one be?
KS1,
KS1,
KS2,
KS2,
KS3,
KS3,
KS4,
KS4, and KS5.
KS5,
Last one is project effectiveness, PE1,
PE2,
PE2,
PE3.
PE3, PE4, and PE5. So you can see that I've turned all of them to variables now.
Yes.
I thought someone will ask me a question that when we say gender, why didn't we put value under gender? Why did someone ask that question? Why? Do you guys know the answer? Now, why didn't we put 1 male, 2 female under gender? Nobody asked that question, or nobody has that question in mind.
Understand it.
You understand?
Yes.
Okay, so why?
Because it's categorical. We are not
Mm,
measuring.
we are not measuring it. Jesus Christ. Ada, your co-trainee. Ada, yeah, please.
Like,
Bill her. If Ada will not will not be able to bill you, that means that we're going to end this call. You guys will go and start learning from beginning again. Yes, so Jesus Christ. So who can tell me why don't we code gender here? Why didn't we code gender? Because
Because gender is already in numeric already.
Jesus Christ, is gender in numeric?
No, like the rest the data is
Yeah.
already numbers.
Okay, so is this number is male number?
No, men is no number.
So what
Okay,
does that
sorry,
mean?
gender. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I was thinking of age.
The issue that is happening there is what I explained in the last class. I told you in the last class that when you are pulling your variable, when you are scripting your question on Google Forms, it's either you use the linear scale that will give you number, or you use multiple option, which will give you what? Label. So the problem with gender now is that because the data was not collected in number format, you cannot come to SPSS and change it to number. It's already in string. It cannot change to number again. But when we're collecting all of those our dimensions, you see that we're collecting them in numbers. That's why we're able to code them here. So if peradventure you wanted to also come to SPSS to code gender, what you would have done in Excel was to change male to 1, female to 2. So that when you are now importing your data to SPS environment, it will be in 1 and 2. Then you'll be able to what? Code. But because when we were importing, gender was already in label, it's in string. That's why you have this yellow A, because it's in string already. That's why you have string. And we recall when we're doing variable types, I said string means it's character. It's character. It's not categorical. It's not seen that, although when it spills out the result, it spills it out in categorical, but it's actually in character, it's string. So that's why it's very important that when you are coding, when you're writing your or you are scripting your questionnaire, it's very important that you know if your data should come in number or in labels. So that's about that. So let's go back to what we are doing today. Compute variable. So what's the first one we want to do? Cultural what?
Intelligence.
Intelligence. So now one of the things you have to understand is that when you are computing a variable, new variable cannot be, you cannot have space. If you remember when we are doing variable naming, you cannot have space under variable. So if I try to have space here and I try to do anything, it's going to give me issues. It's going to give me issues.
Please,
It's
can
going to,
you right click to change it? How do you right click to change
I'm
that?
going to talk about that.
Okay.
Why I want to say that, I want to tell you something. Variable name contains an illegal character. You can see what's happening. Why? Because
Okay.
because I have space here. So you cannot have space between variable. That's why you notice that when we imported to SPSS, what happened to all of our questions is it became something that we don't understand. All of the space was shrinked off. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under variable name. It's because SPSS will not allow you to have space between words in variable name. So you have to be very conversant, or you have to put that into cognizance. So I'm going to write cultural underscore intelligence, or you write everything together, but underscore makes it sane. So what you do is what SPSS will give you naturally is the labels, but you can right click and click on display variable names. So what I want to do is that I want to find the average of C1, C2, C3, C4, and C5. So what I'll then do is that I'm going to, please pay attention. Oh, pay attention. So I can say C1, I can do the normal mathematics as per I'm a mathematician, plus C2, plus this, plus this, plus, it's just to double click what I'm doing. I'm just double clicking. Or you click and click on this, just the way you do it when you were. Then I do that, then say divide by 5. If I click on OK, it will compute my variable for me. So if I go to my data view, or even variable view will have it. So from variable view, I can double click here. So you can see that my variable has been computed, cultural intelligence. So let me delete it. So another way to do it, or okay, let me do is that you can say, I'm going to do cultural intelligence too, but I'm not going to use this format. I'm going to use, so you look at under function groups here. You can see arithmetic. Click on arithmetic. You're not going to look for average or mean, any of the two. Oh, it's not even there. I'm coming. Or the average coming. C1, comma, C2. I don't know why I'm not getting it. Comma, C3, comma, C14, comma, C15. Yeah, I hope this average works. You give us, oh, come in, Y, right. ABG, ABG there. ABG is not there. Mean, details, marks. Oh, yeah, it should be mean. Okay, MEAN. So I can, You come to all, although you can type it MEAN. So you just type MEAN, you have your answer, not average. You type MEAN, or you click on all. When you click on all, you look for mean under all and you double click it, any of the two. But I think typing mean is faster than that. So it's the same thing. You put all your variables, but note that if you are using function, what will be in between your variables are commas. It's not that you put mean and you now be saying C1, CI1 plus CI2. It will be error. So if you click on OK now, it will compute your variable for you. So you can see that we now have cultural intelligence. So this one is the one that we calculated with mean, and this one is the one that we calculated with the addition divided by 5. That's the normal calculation of mean manually. Any question?
Yes, I have a question.
All right.
So now this is now giving us like the average of each respondent's data,
Yes,
but for a particular section.
exactly. For only this section. So each dimension would have its own variable.
Okay.
So each dimension so cultural intelligence will have its own variable. Digital collaboration, we do the same thing for digital collaboration. You just go back to that place, click on transform, go to compute, then we'll say digital underscore collaboration. So now what I'll just do is that I'll just change. So you can all see the reason why I changed that variable name to CI. Who can already see the reason why I changed that variable name to CI?
It will be too long.
Exactly. It will be too long. It will just mess up all of these environments. So I can say DC1, comma, DC2. It's just very, very, what's it called? Um, what's in English? You have to take, you have to pay attention to what you are typing, because this SPSS is, we call it, it's case sensitive. Small letter DC is different from capital letter DC. Please, you have to put rapt attention to that. Ensure that. So you can see that now DC, we have the one for DC. Ada, have you seen
Yeah.
the answer to your question now?
Yes. How do you move it to after the C5, CI5?
Is it this one?
Your average data. Yeah, this one's the answers that you just gave us. How do you move that whole column now to it to just follow that? Okay, at the ending of C5 is giving us the average of each person. How do you move that column to the front?
Okay. No. So are you talking about this place?
Yes.
So no, for any variable that you compute in SPSS, LS will always bring it to the end. You are the one that can bring it to beside the questions.
Yeah. So
So
how do you move it beside the
if you
question?
want to bring it to beside the question, you come to data view, you come to the head of your variable.
Oh,
So
I move it from data view to
so
that.
yeah, so you press there are two ways. You press Control C, then look out for the edge of the C5. Then first thing you do is click on DC1. That's the next one. Right
Yeah.
click it. Click on insert variable. Then
Okay.
under that new variable that has been inserted, press Control V. So it will move your variable there.
Okay. Because I already copied it, right? So I'm just can I
Yes.
click and just come to paste
But
there?
most of the time, I always like to Control X, because
Okay.
if you Control V, it will not create
You
that
still
variable.
duplicate.
Yeah, it will not create that variable, because you cannot have two variables having the same name.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to move it completely, just press Control X to move it there. So now you can see that we now have cultural intelligence. We now have digital collaboration. So the same thing, we can move. So the another way to do it is press Control X here, come to digital collaboration here, click on insert variable,
Um,
then Control V, Control X, Oh, I think this one will not work. No, this one will not work. I don't think this one will work. The only one that will work is the
Under
data.
the view,
Yeah,
variable view.
view. The variable view will not work. So for you to get this one, it's the same way. Move your digital collaboration. Make sure that you have selected everything. Control X. Then go to the variable you created here. Control V. So for KS, we'll do the same thing. Transform, compute variables. Then it's now going to be KS1 to KS5. So KS1, KS2, KS3, KS4, KS5. Please, you have to be very, 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 very attentive to this. Because, it's computation. If you go and put CI1 here instead of KS1, it will compute nonsense for you. And whatever anything you bring out, you have done, you call it, you have sewa. You have sewa for us now. So knowledge sharing. So please, for our subsequent projects, I will not be doing all of these things again. No. I'm just doing them for the first time and for the last time. So knowledge sharing, click on this. Control X, then click on this, insert variable, and Control V. You can see. Then for the last one, project effectiveness, click on transform, compute variable. Then this time around, we want to do project effectiveness. So this one will now be P1. So it will be P2. Kev, are you with us? P3, because I've not had your voice.
No, I'm with you.
Okay. So project effectiveness, we now have P1 to P5. So you can see that we now have all of our data set complete. So now you can now do that question that I sent to the group yesterday. Because if you don't have, because the question, if you look at the question says, what is the influence of digital collaboration on knowledge sharing? Is that not the question?
Yes.
That's the question. There's no way you can measure the relationship between digital collaboration and project effectiveness without a model. But that's what that thing is talking about. So you have to first compute all of these questions, variables that you have turned to questions that you have turned to variables. You have to compute them out. You now have your variable. Then after that, you can do what you want to do. So now you already know that whatever it is, so there is something that you guys always do that I've not really talked about very well. So one thing that you can now do, you notice that this one is not in category. So, for each of the dimensions, you guys always pick only 2 questions, right?
Yeah.
And you use that 2 questions to, talk about that dimension, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, knowledge sharing, they do this. Actually, you need to talk about knowledge sharing itself. Not so after you have talked about those 2 questions under that dimension. So you need to do that after computations, we're able to derive digital collaboration. And the distribution is this. So now you already know that the distribution, this one is numeric. If you recall when we're doing nominal, ordinal, scale, and interval, if you remember, we said
Yeah.
nominal, you don't have good ordering, right? But in ordinal, you have ordering. But there is no good spacing between them. Just like in nominal now, first, second, third. First, second, third has ordering, right? But
Yeah.
you cannot say first is 5 times bigger than second. Second is 5 times bigger than third. No, it's just spacing in our head. So it's the same thing as this strongly agree, strongly disagree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we know that 1 is less than 2, 2 is less than 3, but you cannot say that, oh, digital collaboration between 1 and 2 is smaller than digital collaboration between 4 and 5. So that's where ordinal becomes an issue. So now, this your computation has taken you away from ordinal. It has taken you to scale, because now you can see that we now have decimal points. So you cannot use frequency to represent this distribution. What you'd have to use is what we call descriptive statistics. Now, to use descriptive statistics in SPSS, you click on Analyze, descriptive statistics, but instead of clicking on frequencies, you're going to click on descriptives. So you already know that we're just going to move our new variables to the variable part now. Only those new variables that we just got. Those are the things we are going to move. Those are the guys we are going to move. So for this one, you don't need charts. What you just need is tables. So you click on OK. Then you have maximum, minimum, mean, and standard deviation. So now I want to ask you a question. Based on what I explained when I was doing that, participant said this one, participant said this one. Which of these dimension is higher, is highest in that organization? And what does it mean?
Which of the dimension is highest in the organization?
Yes, and what does it mean?
The dimension of project effectiveness is the highest.
Okay, Favor, do you know why?
Because of the mean is the highest.
Thank you very much. The mean is the highest. All right, so what does that imply? Based on what I explained here, if you recall what I explained here, I said something about the minimum and the maximum, right? And I
Yeah.
said if something is going to the minimum, it means something. If it's getting closer to the maximum, it means something. If the mean is going closer to the minimum, it means something. If the mean is getting closer to the maximum, it means something. So, which one is this mean getting closer to? The highest. What does this mean getting closer to?
Agree.
Yes,
Three.
agree.
Why? Because it's greater than neutral. Neutral is 3.
Yeah.
Agree is 4. And
Yeah.
strongly agree is 5. So that means that most of them are agreeing that what?
That project effectiveness is done in the organization.
Yes, that there's high level of project effectiveness in the organization. That's just it. So when you have interpreted those your 2 questions, you need to put this in your table. That is what you got from project effectiveness, and this is it. Now, the chart that we use when we do things that are not nominal, the chart we use is what we call histogram. We use histogram. So histogram will give you a good view of your work. So if you go to chart, you see histograms. Then you click on continue. So what I'm going to move now is not those nominals. You can see that this guy is different from this guy. You can see this one looks like ruler. This one looks like
Yeah.
LGBTQ sign. Rainbow sign. Let me use LGBTQ. Rainbow. All right. So if I click on OK now, what I will get, you can see that I have histogram, but most of the time we don't usually put this. But for preferity, we can put it to show that, oh, I'm a good statistician. It's good to put the histogram. So you can see that from this place, you already see that, okay, this one is the one that is, and this frequency just talks about how many times that thing is occurring. So you can see which one is occurring the most. Something around neutral is the one that is occurring the most. But in terms of the distribution that has the side that has the highest responses, you see that this side, if you look at neutral in the middle, you can see that this side has more responses than this side. Although this negative side, you still see some people picking that side. But for the most part, this guy, the positive side has the highest level of responses. So that means that project effectiveness, there's high level of this one is project effectiveness. So you can see that knowledge sharing also has that same dimension. So there's high level of knowledge sharing. So there's high level of, even we can see that 4 has the highest here. So cultural intelligence, oh, there's high level of cultural intelligence. So that's how you measure constructs. Any question?
Yes, there's question.
All right. What's the
So
question?
now, at what point do we use all of this histogram now talking about it as a header and not per question? I think it depends on the is it hypothesis or be research question, whatever she's saying that the person is saying that they want to do in the project in her chapter 1, right?
Exactly. So actually, you are going to do everything because from what we have said so far. Now, the okay, look at the chapter 1. This is the chapter 1. And look at these are the objectives. So from the objectives, that's where we get the questions from. So
Hmm.
the questions are from 2 to 4, right?
Yeah,
Now, it said influence of cultural intelligence on perceived project effectiveness. Now, you notice that cultural intelligence is what we are measuring, and perceived international project effectiveness is what we are
yeah,
measuring. So, what you then do is that for you to go to that, you have to first say under this dimension, cultural intelligence, you have to talk about your variable. Under this cultural intelligence, you have said you have picked out 2 questions before,
yeah,
right? So, what you then do is that before these questions, you have to come up and say, or sometimes it's usually after the questions. The timing is dependent on your response. So, we computed cultural intelligence as a variable from a set of questions highlighted in the questionnaire. So as a writer, you are going to refer them to questionnaire, maybe appendix 1. And the next thing then is after computation, it was found that the respondents endorsed a high level of project of effectiveness. Sorry, cultural intelligence. Yeah, cultural intelligence in Ipsos, Nigeria. And you can just say because the average response is 3.77 something. You get,
yep.
then it says see table, any table you have put it, maybe table 1 or table 2 or table 3. So I think this was
Okay.
table 2 because table 1 is up. So then what you then do is that you pick this table that we have got here, Control C, you come here, you paste it. But we don't need everything. So you at least
So
you know
we just
already that
need
you're
for
going to
cultural intelligence.
exactly. So you're going to delete every other person because you don't need them.
Do we
Delete
need the minimum, maximum, mean, and standard deviation? Do we need those figures too?
is dependent on you, my sister. So it's dependent on you. You can leave it or not leave it. But most of the time we are talking about this, you can leave it. So just to leave it to make your so that when you remove all of these ones, your table becomes naked.
Okay.
Becomes naked. Then to make things more beautiful, you can, copy this also, then put it underneath it. Bam. So you can see that you already measured that. Then make your chart down. You can just say this is also well supported by the histogram in figure, maybe figure 1 also. Let's say we have removed all of the figures up there. So you can see that anybody looking at this now already said that, oh, they endorsed I. Oh, yes, now. Obviously, they endorsed I because most of distribution fell to this side. Please,
Mm.
hope everyone understand why I'm saying most of distribution falls to this side. Any
Yes.
question about that?
No, no.
Do you understand? Favor.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So yeah, that's about that. So
That
we
means the
can
one that we now did, that the normal strongly agree that those tables and that chart is no longer needed in this.
so for this one,
Yeah.
it's still needed. Why?
But we've already
Because
done the other one, so we still need to add them.
I love that question. It's still needed. That's why I said you should always do yours too. You get? It's because it is redundant. You get? It's redundant. It's not really needed per se because what we need is this guy. But because we want to also, cheat.
Yeah.
What is cheat? So um below you can find the specific distribution to other questions computed for cultural intelligence. So then you can then start talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. So most of the time, what I do is that I put, so when I want to talk about others, what I do is that I create a, sorry. So what I do is that I create a kind of table where I put these two charts together. These two charts, I will put both of them together. Maybe when I'm done with this one, I will teach you guys. So I put both of them together. So the two charts will be together. So most of the time, I usually remove this table at the long run. The reason I always put this table is because I keep those files because some people's supervisor will ask that, where is the table? So we don't need to go and start analyzing again. Ada, you asked me that question that should we put the
Yeah.
table? The reason we always put the table and the chart is because we keep those versions. You get, we keep those versions. So it should in case that they have to come back and say, oh yeah, put the table. You don't need to go and start running analysis again, what you have done before. So it's just more like duplication of efforts. So
Okay.
what we usually do is that what we usually do is that I would download this as a Word document. I don't work on Google Forms, Google Doc because it's not usually very efficient for my time.
Okay.
So that's all. Any
Um,
question?
I have a question. Back
All right.
to that. um, Why are there so many lines? Like,
Okay, thank you very much. So there are so many lines because this is an histogram. This is not a bar chart.
no, I know, but like, you can see this number one has only one line. Number
Yeah.
two has like one, three, four.
Okay.
And
All
like,
right. So
what?
let me show you something on the data. So let's look out for cultural intelligence. We are going to do something now. So what you can do, but you have to be very sure that there is serial number on your data before you do this. So please, very important. Before you do anything to your data set, ensure that there is serial number. What I always do whenever I collect any data set, I'll tell that person, I want to put serial number. Hope there is no serial number before. I say, there's no serial number. So I'll put my own serial number. And the reason being that so that I can always return the data in the format they gave me. It's not that I'll go and dabaru the data. So because what I want to do now with dabaru the data, that's why I have to also always check that there is serial number. So we can do what we call ascending. You can sort this in ascending order. So if I right click on this column, you can see sort ascending. Now, favor, how many ones do we have here?
One, two,
Because we
three.
have sorted in ascending order, we are sure that when we see one, that's the only one that is there, right? Because we have sorted.
Yeah.
So this is the highest and this is the lowest. If I sort in descending, my first value will be what? The highest. And the lowest will be, and the last one will be what? The lowest. Aha. So how many five do I have here?
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven.
Seven. Yeah, let's go back to that chart. How many five do we have here?
Okay.
Can you
Seven.
see?
Yeah. So the second line is not for what?
Which one?
The second line is for 4 points, maybe 4 points.
So because we now have decimal points,
Oh.
before we are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One is this one is that. Now we have decimal points. So the next one will be the next decimal point that the guy sees on this data set. Which one is that?
4.8.
So how many 4.8 do we have? 3.
3.
Now let's go back to our chart. How many 4.8s are here?
Yeah, 3.
So how many ones did we see before? It was just 1.
Sorry, I have a question concerning this ascending that you did.
All right.
Please, can you go back to the data view?
Yeah.
Now that you did this in ascending order, right?
Yeah.
Usually on Excel, when you do, if you're not careful, it just that particular row, that is only what it moves to an order. If you're not careful, scattering your responses.
Yes. So that's why I said you always have to have what we call serial number.
Okay.
If I want to revert back to how I'll just sort this serial number to go back to how I had it
That
before.
means it was the whole variable that it changed the.
Yes, exactly. It's not changing only that column.
All right.
To change all of the variable. Even in Excel will also change everything. If you sort in ascending or descending,
Okay. Okay.
it will also change everything. Have I answered your questions?
Yes, so that means in that back to that cultural now. That means for that cultural intelligence, the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be analyzing it in first of all analyzing it like question by question per just like this. Then we'll now
Yeah.
do like we'll now do like a average, a big sum. That's the other one that shows our strongly agree. This one is just not it's not showing any of that. It's the
Yes,
second
exactly.
table. We'll now do that other one. You just put like a small explanation that this is just referencing to 2 questions.
Yes, exactly.
Then
Exactly.
the other one is referencing to all 5 questions talking about the cultural intelligence. At what point do we put the question that is referencing to those 5 questions? Is it still in this explanation?
No, 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 no. If you put all of those ones, they will say you should remove it because you don't have much
Okay.
words. So what we shall do is what we call referencing. Now you guys are already referencing. So what you do is that you put the questionnaire in a part called appendix.
Okay.
So in writing, we put the what we want to reference in the part called appendix. So we just say, okay, so check appendix 1. So everybody that wants to now get the question will just go to appendix 1 and see the questionnaire. So the person will be seeing these guys.
Okay. All right.
Yes, the person will be seeing these questions. Okay, these are the questions. Okay, okay. And the person is able to say, okay, okay, okay. All right, I get that.
Okay. All right.
Any
That was
question?
no. So that
No.
means so now this is now the chap that like I asked, we're not doing any discussion of findings for this particular one.
No, all of these ones we don't have. We're not doing discussion because we have not answered the question. Look at the question that we want to answer. What is the influence of cultural intelligence on project effectiveness? Right? Have we done
Yeah.
that? No, because what we have just done now is just cultural intelligence independent, then passive international projects, then interdependent. So the next thing we now then want to do is that we now want to start picking under the results because we are not done with our results yet. So influence of cultural intelligence on project effectiveness. Then to get that, you are going to use what we call regression equation. So you click on analyze, click on regression, click on linear. So there's what we call dependent and independent.
Yeah.
So dependent variable is your outcome variable, and independent is the variable you are trying to look out for how that one is influencing the outcome variable. So if you look at this question now, you see that we are saying that what is the influence of cultural intelligence on project effectiveness? So the one that you are trying to look at is effect on the other one, that's the independent. And the one that you are trying to look the effect of that one on, that is the dependent. So if I say that I want to look at the effect of
CIMP.
Eh?
Like cultural, you want to look
No,
at the
I want to use
influence of,
another. I want to use another. I want to use
okay,
another example. Yes, I want to look at the effect of the frequency of going to church
on
on
making heaven. Yes.
making heaven. Exactly. You have to go. You have to go to Baba God to get the data of making heaven. Oh. So in that case, going to church is the independent variable, while the heaven is the dependent variable. The one that I am trying to look at its effect on that one is the independent. But the one I am trying to look at the effect of that one on, that is the dependent variable. So that means that I will bring project effectiveness to what? Project effectiveness will come to dependent variable,
Dependent.
then cultural intelligence will come to independent. Then
Independent
just click
variable.
on OK. So what you need is what we call these coefficients.
Okay.
You copy these coefficients, copy this table, then
Sorry, I'm lost. Oh.
let's do it another day, maybe tomorrow, so that you guys will not be fully lost. Go and
Okay.
practice everything we've done today.
You practice and update it on the documents.
Yes, go and practice that.